Religion. Let's get started. Okay, so we'll be studying in this video are the different religions or the major religions in the world. But before we got into it, I wanted to show you guys a couple graphs. One of the major religions that are practiced in the world, the percentage of people in the world with each religion. And the second one will be the major religions, the breakdown of religious organizations in the United States. So taking a look at it, approximately a third, 33% of the world's population are Christians, whether or not you're Jewish, Catholic, or Protestant. About the next biggest segment is 21% of the world's population are Muslim, whether or not you are Sunni or Shiite, the different sects of Islam. Then we go with Hindus. About 13% are Hindus. 11% consider themselves non-religious, which are different than the 2% consider themselves to be atheists. 5% Buddhists, and about 12.48% would consider themselves to be other religions, which are normal, which are like tribal religions or smaller religions with indigenous peoples of different areas. Okay, and this is a map of the United States that shows the leading church bodies in the United States within at the year 2000. Now look, it is not necessarily which religion has the most number of people. These are two different maps. What it shows though is which religions are the most organized, and mostly they're different sects of Christianity, and it shows which one has more of an organizational presence, not a sheer numbers presence. And I'll show you why. When you take a look at the West, you see it's light blue, which represents Catholicism. That is not so much true. That is not so much true as far as raw numbers. It is true with Catholicism. South Texas, South Louisiana, South Florida, Midwest, Northeast. Those are traditionally strong Catholic areas. What it means in the West is just that these areas are more. That's just where the church is a little bit more organized, and it's a lot of different splintered off sects of Christianity. In the Bible Belt, what we referred to earlier as the Bible Belt, you'll see that it's red. It's most of if you guys are football fans, the Southeastern Conference, pretty much every school in the Southeastern Conference, every school in the Southeastern Conference is represented where the Baptists are the most prominent, the leading church bodies in these areas, and we're looking at Mormons, or the leading church bodies in Idaho, Utah, and Arizona. Then we'll show that Lutherans tend to be the leading church bodies in Montana and North Dakota. So pretty interesting stuff. And once again, this is not the part that is most necessarily the most has the most members. Generally, that's what it shows, but sometimes it's which group is the most organized in that area. And now that we've already spoken a little bit about religions, we have to answer the question, what is religion? And this graph, something we're all familiar with, is a family praying. This is something that we associate with religion. So what exactly is a religion? Religions are a lot of things, okay? So what the first thing is that they're a system of beliefs and worships. Religions are used to transmit ethical values to people. And religions also there's a belief in a divine power or superhuman power or something that has to be obeyed and worshipped and generally what's being obeyed and worshipped is the creator and ruler of the universe. Definitely that is the common theme of the religions that we'll be taking a look at today, or if not in this video, the next video, that the superpower or the divine power is the creator of the universe. It's not so much in every religion, but in the primary ones we'll study today. Now, we'll talk about the terms monothesis and polytheism and monotheism. But before we do that, let's break it down first to define what the term mono means. Mono actually means one. It means one. It's just represented by the number of one. So if you have mono, not the kissing disease, but if you say you have like a monophone, or something, that means you have one or something. Mono is definitely mean mano y mano. That's one on one. So the pronoun of not mono means one. Define poly. Going along with that, poly means many. The the pronoun of poly means many, more than one, which is represented by this picture where you see more than one person. The word theism. When you define theism, that is that is the belief in one God or many gods, but it is the belief in a higher power, whether or not it is in a belief in one God or many gods, and that's just represented by this picture, which is actually angels descending from heaven. It's actually angel descending from heaven. So now that we know about mono, polytheism, we have to define the words monotheism and polytheism. And when we say monotheism, these are religions where people believe in one God. So it's religions where people believe in one God, one higher power. And now going to polytheism, this illustration shows you, if you could not put the words, if you didn't put it together just from the previous breaking down of the words, this is an example of the the Egyptian gods. This is a picture illustrating the Egyptian gods, the rulers, or some of the rulers that the ancient Egyptians believed were the people who ruled their universe. And it goes with the term polytheism because it means a belief in more than one God, which is also illustrated in this picture, which is, if you guys are probably more familiar with, the Greek gods of mythology. And it's all, once again, polytheism is the belief in many gods. Now, we will study three major monotheistic religions in this particular video, and let's get down to it. What are they? Well, the first one is Judaism. Judaism was founded around 11,000 BC. Then we get to Christianity, which was the 1st century AD to 1100 AD, and then we go, which was founded between the 1st century AD to 100 AD. I apologize. And Islam, which was founded right around 600 AD. The two major polytheistic religions that we'll briefly touch on today are Hinduism, which was founded or formed around 1000 BC, and we mean BC is generally before Christ, and 500 AD is generally after Christ, or after dying actually. And number two is Buddhism, which is 500 AD, which was founded around 500 AD. So breaking down, getting into what the major religions are, just once again, Judaism, 1000 BC, came first. Then we're looking at, which is generally looking at Judaism, that's what we're referring to, the Jewish faith. Christianity is the 1st century AD. Islam, 600 AD. Hinduism, 1000 BC. And Buddhism, 500 AD. What you have to do is create a timeline in your notes. There'll be something in your notes guide. I will be checking that where you create a timeline. It does not have to be complicated. Just showing the different religions. Just showing the different religions. What I want to see is that you understand which order that they were founded in. And it can look something like this, but you do not have the space to write that. So it should look something like this, but laying flat. One question that we'll discuss in class is whether or not the earlier religions influenced the later religions and why you would think that. So kind of be thinking about that. That is something we would discuss in class. So there are some common features that each of these monotheistic religions share, and we'll discuss these very briefly. One is that monotheist is a deity or deities in the case of polytheistic religions. A deity is, once again, a god or goddess. All the religions that we'll study today, though, they believe in a holy book or books. And within these holy books or books, there are moral guidelines or beliefs that are outlined and given to the people. They all have sacred places of worship. And within the monotheistic religions, all those places of worship, they have the same places of worship, or not necessarily the same places of worship, but the same holy places. Similar, some of them share spiritual leaders. All the religions have spiritual leaders. Some of them share spiritual leaders. The monotheistic religions share pretty much all of the same, most of the same spiritual leaders. They all have religious symbols. They all have holidays and celebrations, and all of the religions that we're studying have sex. And what sex mean? that there are different offshoots of it. There are different offshoots of religion. So, for example, when we talk about Christianity, we mean all Christians. We mean Methodists. We mean Lutherans. We mean Anglicans. We mean Catholics. We mean Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox Christianity. But each one of those separate denominations can be called a sect. So a sect is just a different denomination of the same religion. Oh, and a sect is once again a subdivision of a larger group. All right, that's it. The end. This will take you through the first half of the notes guide, and part 2 will be coming up right next. So have a good evening, and I'll see you in class. Make sure that you highlight the learning targets.